The goal of this video is to provide you with evidence of Jesus' existence from non-Christian sources within 100 years of Jesus' death. One of the earliest non-Christian references to events surrounding Jesus comes from a historian named THALLUS. Writing around the mid-1st century, Thallus's original work is lost, but we know about it because it's quoted by a later writer named Julius Africanus, writing around 221 AD. Africanus tells us that Thallus tried to explain the darkness reported during Jesus' crucifixion as a natural solar eclipse. Africanus responds by pointing out that solar eclipses can't occur during Passover and they don't last that long. BAR-SERAPIon, he was a Stoic philosopher writing from Roman captivity, sending a letter to his son. Mara gives 3 examples: Socrates, Pythagoras, and then the wise king of the Jews. He says, what advantage did the Jews gain from executing their wise king? It was just after that their kingdom was abolished. The Jews, desolate and driven from their own kingdom, live in complete dispersion. But Socrates is not dead because of Plato, neither is Pythagoras because of the statue of Juno, nor is the wise king because of the new law he laid down. FLAVIUS Josephus. Josephus was Jewish, writing for a Roman audience, and did not believe Jesus was the Messiah. Josephus mentions Jesus in 2 separate places. In one passage, he describes Jesus as a real person, a teacher, executed under Roman authority, and with followers who continued after his death. Scholars agree that this passage in particular contains later Christian edits, but they also agree that a core reference to Jesus is authentic. And even as late as last year, a book named Josephus and Jesus, from a Christian perspective, seemed to possibly shine some light on the passage being authentic to the original. But even more important is a second reference. Josephus records the execution of James and identifies him as the brother of Jesus, who was called Christ. And this line is universally accepted even by skeptical scholars. He also mentions John the Baptist. Pliny the Younger was a Roman governor in modern-day Turkey. He writes to Emperor Trajan with a particular problem. What do I do with Christians? Pliny explains that they met on a fixed day, they sang hymns, and worshipped Christ as a god. If you notice something important, Rome isn't asking whether Jesus existed, they're dealing with the consequences of his movement. Tacitus, one of Rome's most respected historians, he despised Christianity, he called it a deadly superstition, and yet he writes, Christus suffered the extreme penalty under Pontius Pilate during the reign of Tiberius. That's Jesus crucified under Pilate in the correct historical time frame, and Tacitus had access to Roman records. Another Roman writer, SUETONIUS, reinforced a similar picture where he mentions unrest caused by the followers of Christus, which people believe to be a reference to Jesus Christ. But these sources tell us that Jesus existed, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate, his followers appeared close after, and his movement spread rapidly. You don't have to rush to conclusions, but denying Jesus existed in the first place isn't where the evidence leads, in my opinion.